Man Hours on Dingo and the Coach podcast. I'm here with my co-host Steve Ellis, and Steve, our next guest is a guy that we know very well. He's a guy that we graduate with, a guy that was also one of our teammate of ours, and just great. And I'll tell you what, Pat can hurl the baseball, man. I can't wait to get talking about Pat.
Well, Pat Murphy, as we know, it's a longtime friend. We've teammates with him. Great guy, great player, but even a better person. So we're going to get into his childhood and all the way up through what he did post high school and get into it. So I can't wait.
Yeah, and it's going to be good. We get to see him again here shortly in about a month or two with the golf outing. So we'll get to see him here shortly. But as we said, joining us is Pat Murphy. And Pat, thanks for joining us.
No problem. It's great catching up with you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So let's get how we started. We kind of talked a little bit briefly how this was going, but let's talk about growing up in Anderson and what side of Anderson did you grow up on?
Well, I like to think we grew up on the good side of Anderson.
Which was that?
That's some fighting words here. Go ahead.
That's the divide, 125 divide. We were on the good side.
Which was
the 8 mile. Well,
what is it?
The riverside, I guess.
Yeah, he's on
your
side.
Right. Well,
yeah.
So that's we've only had a few of those.
I know, but we always talked about, all my friends and I always talked about that our neighborhood was like the center of the universe.
Yeah,
we were goofy that way, and there were probably 500 kids. In that neighborhood.
And Halloween was awesome. Halloween was the best.
Yeah. It was the greatest.
But there were so many kids that were our age.
Absolutely.
And Danny grew up in Summit. I grew up in Brittany Acres. There were so many kids our age at that time period in the 70s. I guess we'll say.
There was definitely a population boom on there.
Yeah,
no
all at the same time there.
Yeah.
But growing up in the Maddox area, did you guys? Is that where you were born? Did you guys move there?
We lived on Barrowville, and
where's Barrowville?
Barrowville is off of Artwood. So we go up. You go Joetta.
Yep.
And then you could go up Balnetta, and you had Ted Benedetto, you had the Gerard boys, you had the Nazarene boys, you had Sullivan, Gary Geis. There was a ton.
Oh yeah.
But hardly anybody played baseball. Everybody played soccer, and but we were always outside doing something, playing football or whatever, tossing. If there was something to throw or catch, we were doing it.
So you went to Maddox.
Mm-hmm.
All
Maddox
the way
Mustang.
up. Yeah, Madison Mustang.
Yes.
That's it.
Were you on those? What are the jumping ropes or whatever they were?
I remember. Mr. Baggett was our PE teacher.
Really?
Yeah. And we used to have summer playground. I'm sure you guys had it at Summit.
We're talking about that.
It was great.
So who ran the Maddox summer playground?
Well, Mr. Griffith ran it for a while.
Okay.
Mr. Center ran it for
he was at
couple of years.
And then Mr. Sanders, Coach Sanders, ran that too.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, it was just a blast. You go up there every day and you play dodgeball 24/7.
That was the greatest thing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow. So was that like the meeting place besides the summer playground? Was
absolutely.
To go to Maddox?
They'd have Friday. They would have Friday movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just you had pop machine and popcorn and
just so different now.
Yeah. Oh, it's so because you were outside all
They don't
day
know
long.
what they're missing. The kids have no idea what they were missing.
Agreed. All right. So as you were growing up there and you started getting into sports, what type of sports did you start playing?
Oh God, from 7 years old on, we played every sport. You played football. Mm-hmm. Football was in your bed, sleeping with you.
So who did you play for? Mount Washington?
Yeah, played Mount Washington Pee Wee football.
Yep.
And played, I don't know if you know Mike Nieberding or Kenny Nieberding. Mm. Grew up right next door to me. He went to GA. Okay. So we had the GA, Mount Washington Pee Wee.
Okay.
I'm playing nose guard. I weigh 65 pounds maybe or something like that.
Guy's got an arm. He's playing nose guard. Well, wasn't your dad one of the coaches?
Yeah. So, he coached, and I think Doug Fisher coached.
Doug Fisher.
Yeah, he, and then Mr. Fisher coached. And
Chris Fisher.
Yeah. So,
wow.
It was a blast.
All right.
Just a blast. Just to grow up in it.
Because I played football 1 year with you, and that was the 1 year.
You played football?
Yeah, 1 year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get destroyed?
That is how rude.
At that age.
All right. So now that you say that, so I tied for the team lead in touchdowns that year.
You did?
Yeah.
What position?
You have a problem with that?
What position did you play?
You know how many touchdowns I scored?
One.
We weren't very good.
In our defense, we were playing the Little Red Machine. we were playing Bridgetown Bears. We were playing West Side. Dude, they were good.
And I wasn't exactly bulky,
None of us were.
Yeah.
None of us were. Yeah. I mean, but helmet looked like a bobblehead, didn't it?
All right, so what else did you play besides football?
I played basketball. I love playing Kiwanis basketball. I wasn't never really good at basketball.
Who'd you play with? Who was your coach?
We had Ken Reynolds.
All right, your coach?
Rapper was our coach.
No way.
Yeah,
really.
I played for when I was younger. I played for Tarvin Plumbing.
Sure.
We had Hugh Burnside on our team.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
I think it was Ken Glockner.
Okay.
Purdon was on our team. Steve Purdon was our Birdman.
Yep.
Let's see. And then, we always played. We were always doing something. Yeah. But as we got older, we played in the Kiwanis high school team. The guys who weren't good enough to actually make the team.
Right.
So I had Gary Geist was on my team. Bill Jarb was on my team.
Yep.
And we were called ourselves the Thundercats. We were total dorks.
Thundercats. Yeah. I like it.
We ended up winning the league. Mr. Geist was always our referee on Saturday.
What was a good time. And you obviously played baseball growing up.
Yeah.
Who'd you play for?
Played for New Sash. Mr. Madden.
Yes.
Was our coach. Yep. Mr. Benassi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. My dad coached a little bit. Mr. Palazzola.
Sure.
Danny Palazzola.
Danny Palazzola. Just recently became Facebook friends with him and caught up with him, which was really cool. And then we played Sipsy Klein.
Yep.
And that was a blast.
Yeah.
And then we played Legion.
Yeah.
Never was quite good enough to play for Midland because I didn't quite fit the profile that everybody had for Midland. You had to be 6 foot. You had to be able,
Right.
I just didn't fit that profile. Whatever.
Well, I want to go back. All right. So you talked about those sports: basketball, baseball, and football. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to the alleged. And you're going to have to help me on this. The Anderson Hills Football League.
HFL. Heck yeah, man. The HFL was awesome.
Explain what that is. And
so it was just us. And, we started out on Anderson Hills Drive. We were playing Nerf football,
Okay.
We'd get a game together. And then we decided as we got bigger, we'd go up to Maddox.
Okay.
Well, Maddox had that big field right there.
Yep.
Where it had a big sewer lid right in the middle.
Why not?
Why not? Ted would get up there and he'd line the field. I mean, he'd have it marked with cones and everything. I mean, it was big stuff.
All right, so give me some players.
Oh, God. One year we played. They thought they were Jason Druso and those guys, and they thought they were just going to whip our butt. Right.
Okay.
So we're like, I don't know, how much older are we then?
We're Jason Druso?
Yeah, Jason Druso graduated in 92, so 6 years.
Maybe Jake or Lou Andreadis, one of those two.
Okay.
Because Mark played with us.
Okay, yeah. But who were some of the guys that played with you?
Tony Naz, Tim Hankey.
I played in a couple of those things.
The Drawer Boys, the Geist Boys. Rick Sharp played John Ford. I don't know if you remember John Ford or not.
Yeah. Brian Sullivan.
Yeah, Sully, Ted.
What about Ken Shelton? He lived in your neighborhood.
He did. I used to go over to his house all the time and play basketball.
Well, we played poker at his house quite a bit.
Yeah. So, he was a good kid. I don't know where he lives. I think he lives in Westchester or something like that. I don't know what he does.
I think he's a pharmacist.
Yeah.
Is he?
I think. So that was like a big to-do.
The HFL was a big deal.
Yeah.
So we played Jason Druso, and this guy said we were just going to destroy us. So I just looked at first play of the game. I just looked in the ass. I said, "Hey, just go deep." And we just
threw it.
First touchdown done. I think we beat him like seven touchdowns to 0.
Just throw it. He'll run it. Run it down.
That kid's the fastest kid I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, Hankey was fast. Tim is very fast. Naz kid had that like extra gear to where he could just run by.
All right, so let's get into middle school. All right, so what did you play or do in middle school?
Played football.
Okay.
7th and 8th grade for Mr. Griffith.
What position
and
did you play?
Who was the assistant?
Eads.
Mr. Eads.
Oh, yeah.
You guys won the league.
We did.
One year they won the league.
We went undefeated.
Yeah.
And then something happened. Going from 8th grade to 9th grade, something happened.
A lot of kids quit. A lot of kids didn't play.
I played quarterback, but I also played corner.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, and I still remember my number one highlight. We're playing Turpin at Turpin's Field, and Eric Dahlquist comes around the corner. He's thinking he's just going to run me over. I ended up tackling him. The ball flies out. I pick up the fumble. We ended up winning the game.
No way.
Yeah, so
Nice.
really? But then I also remember who was it Ken Kushner?
Sure. Yeah, Ken Kushner. Oh, yeah.
Huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
Enormous, right?
Yeah.
So we're playing at Brown Stadium.
Yeah.
And I'm out there maybe 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If I'm soaking wet. I think my moped license said 5'3", 93 pounds, right?
Moped.
Right. So I'm standing out there, and they ran that tackle eligible play, right?
Okay.
So it's like the ocean just parted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And all I hear is boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah.
And here he comes, man.
Yeah.
And I hit him in the thigh, and I think he probably gave me a concussion.
Oh, yeah.
God.
He dragged me for 5 yards, but I held on to it.
Yeah.
You're right. So,
Kind of like that movie. Was it Oliver? What was that movie where that little kid? I can't remember what it was. Where the kid had glasses on and he just went in and he was going to get destroyed. He just kind of hung on him. He was driving.
My God.
I mean, I think he was probably dragging me by the leg or something like that. But it was crazy.
He was awesome.
Oh.
I mean, he got a full ride to Purdue. I mean,
he was huge.
So that was middle school, right?
I think he was 270 or 280 at the time, and I'm 100 pounds, soaking wet.
Yep.
Did you do anything else in middle school?
Well, I just played baseball, but not for the school.
Right.
I just continued to, I tried to play basketball, but
All right.
I just wasn't good.
Well, let's get into the baseball because that's one of the 15.
Actually, my favorite sport though was football.
Was football?
I love playing football.
God, I wish
so
you would have.
I'll go back to when my brother played, and I don't know if you know Bill Newton.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill and my brother played Pee Wee football together, or they played some kind of football together, for a while. Chris and I would be over on the sidelines killing each other. I mean, it was all the time because
Younger brother.
We're watching the game. Why don't you guys go out and kill each other? Have a tackle over on the side. That's what we did all the time.
Sure.
I mean, so
that's crazy.
It was a fun time.
Wow. All right. So let's get into high school because you had an unbelievable career. I think so. And I'm gonna let me read some of this stuff off first before you talk about because we want to talk about who you played with and how you did. You were on varsity for 3 years, all league your junior and senior year, all city your senior year, and one particular game against Glen Estee had 18 strikeouts, which is what's the word, Danny?
Unbelievable.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I felt like unbelievable today.
Wow, you're past that now?
Yeah. That's for football season.
All right, but here's the stat that I think he's most proud of. Never lost to Turpin.
Oh, that's beautiful. Give me some of that right there.
No matter if we were at Turpin or we were playing at home, it didn't matter.
Well, then why didn't you pitch more? No. All right, so let's get into that. So tell me about your games.
My freshman year, we were playing at Northwest, I believe. Right, so it's cold. I go warm up. Mm-hmm. It's halfway through the game. It's like 35 degrees.
Yep.
We're sitting on like this high, tons of wind, everything. So, I never actually go in the game. I never actually get loose because for some reason I couldn't get loose that day. I don't know.
Yep.
I wake up the next morning. Evidently, I tore my bicep.
Oh.
So I wake up and I can't even lift my arm. So at that time, and I was telling Dan, I went to Wellington, when it was down at One Lytle Place.
Okay.
The original Wellington, there was no other branches or anything like that. And I saw Dr. Height.
Sure.
One of the best doctors ever, right?
Yeah.
Great. And he said, just take the rest of the spring off. Don't do anything. He said, this part of your elbow is separating from the rest of your elbow. I actually think it worked out for a good thing because I think that little nerve kind of settled into where it needs to settle in. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I took the rest and I played that summer.
Okay.
And did fine. I forget, post 318, I think we
post 318.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. So, but your 3 years on varsity, you had a good career.
Yes.
Tell about those days.
So the first game I ever come in, sophomore year, we're playing Forest Park.
Okay.
These guys all look like they're like 35 years old. I mean, they're all 6 foot plus.
Beards.
Huge. I mean, so I think we're losing. I don't know who I came in for, maybe Ty or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, whatever. So I come in and pitch, and I'm warming up. I come out there, I'm tiny. I mean, I'm tiny.
Right. Sophomore.
They're laughing at me.
Yeah.
I think they're beating us like probably 5-2 or 7-2 or something like that, whatever. I come out and I throw my first warm-up pitch, and they all went, "Oh my God," because I was so jacked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have run through the wall.
Right.
I mean, I was so hyped up.
Sure.
So that was a good time. I enjoyed it. I mean,
well, who was because we were trying to think about this earlier. Was Lynn Moore still your coach? Was he the coach then when you're sophomore?
Yeah, Lynn Moore was the coach.
And then after that, it was it Heineken?
No, he always played for Moore.
You played for Moore all years?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, we had
Heineken was the JV coach.
Yeah.
Okay. I for some reason thought that you had 1 year where you didn't have Moore.
I think he quit after our senior year, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So, the rest, that stuff is kind of just a blur.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to remember. I mean, I know we're getting old, but God, it's getting hard to remember. And, I pulled out some stuff that my mom and dad had that they saved. And, there's stuff. I do have a school record and that was the 18 strikeouts.
Oh,
Not even the great Rich Dotson has beat that.
Wow.
Right. So
that's pretty awesome.
We were playing, it was my senior year. We played Glen Estee. We were playing a forced row because our field was crap.
Right.
Oh, remember? They wouldn't even let us play on it because it was so bad.
Yeah.
And didn't feel anything special. Just warming up. Everything's good. Now, what's really cool is that's the one game my Grandpa Murphy came to see.
No
kidding.
Way.
One game.
Well, that's worth it then.
That's awesome.
I'm pitching. Everything's great. I'm not doing it. I don't feel like I'm doing anything different.
Yeah.
I mean, they're number 2 in the city or number 3 in the city or something. They had just beaten West High. Beating Tuffy Rhodes, and it's a really good team over there. So I'm pitching against Mike Kohler, who was outstanding. He went to Michigan or something like that, I think, or something like that. So ended up pitching, and striking out a whole bunch of people and just going around like this. And Jimmy's playing third. Jimmy Diana's playing third, and he looks at me after like the 6th or 7th strikeout, and he goes, grabs the ball, he throws it to me, he says, "Hey, can we play?" But it was so much.
I mean, Glen Estee, they had some really good teams.
Paul Campbell was an outstanding coach, and he had some good players.
Yeah, the Kimura was a great coach at Anderson.
Yeah, he was good. So, I mean, so some of the you mentioned some, like you said, Tuffy Rhodes that you played against. You remember any other ones that you?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, we always seem to play them in the tournament, did we not?
Yeah.
I mean, always. We always got picked by them. You think you hit a double in the gap? No, I got it. Right. I mean, he's just kissed out of the womb by every tool you could have. I mean.
So you had, and then what about, so your junior year, so were any of your years that you played, were they good? Did we have, we were
okay. I think we were 7-2 our junior year.
Junior year?
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
And then senior year was not as.
We were never very good.
Yeah.
We had good players. Corona was great.
What about, I was thinking about this, Billy Ramirez.
Yeah, Billy could run it out ball, man. We had
Boomer.
Masterson. Whitey was a great player. Could run down stuff.
Mark McKee was pretty good, if I remember.
Super fast, too.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
There was definitely some good. If you think about it, all the sports we had in Anderson, you could sit there and say, God,
I really wish
we had some athletes.
Could go back and redo it all.
I do too.
Honest to God, because we could have been a lot better.
I would just like to go back and redo it with the facilities and the weight room that they have now.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Our weight room was. We talk about this all the time. Was that
smaller than this table?
That closet was our weight room.
So I remember as Lenny Miller. Do you know Lenny?
Sure. Yeah.
Lenny Miller grew up across the street. He moved in.
Yeah.
He took me under his wing. Hey, you know what? We go up there. I'm bench pressing the bar. I feel totally embarrassed struggling with that. But he's doing 300 plus pounds on bench press. Looks like every vein in his head's going to pop out. Just a good guy.
Oh yeah.
One of those guys. If he was like a foot taller, he would have been.
Oh, he'd have been a killer.
Playing on Sundays.
He'd have been a killer because he was just tough and intense.
Yeah.
I just thoroughly loved. I feel very blessed growing up in Anderson Township. Honest to God, I do. We didn't have any money. I know people say, well, you grew up in Anderson. You must have been rich. No, we were not.
Right.
No.
There were many times where we didn't have money.
I sit there and think about that all the time, you guys. Like, with the way things are now, inflation, everything that's going on, like, how in the hell did my parents make it on one income.
Right.
It was just my dad. My mom didn't work.
Same here.
Mom stayed home with all of us. And I'm sitting there thinking, how did they have the house that we had, the food that they had, and we had three. I had
4 kids.
4 kids. And,
we had 3 kids. Mom and Dad had 3 kids, and there were many times. Thank God my dad was a meat cutter for Kroger. At least we had meat.
Right. Yeah. You know what's funny? The thing that I remember my mom saying to me all the time too was, we didn't go out a lot. What we did is we went to someone's house and we sat up out on their porch or out on their back patio and just we celebrate. That's what we did. We didn't have money to go out.
No, we never went on vacation.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
Yeah, we didn't.
I think one year we went to Florida and we went to go see my mom and my grandma and grandpa's stayed at their trailer.
Yeah.
It wasn't anywhere near the ocean or anything like that.
Our vacation was going to see relatives.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Mine was spent in Norwood.
But
Norwood, Ohio. Norwood, Ohio.
Some relatives.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this though, at least for me, growing up with no vacations, in some part I was okay with it because I didn't want to miss what was going on in the neighborhood.
Totally agree.
I did not want to miss the wiffle ball. Because we kept track of home runs, all the kick the cans and everything.
Pat, think about it. We've said this on several podcasts. I remember getting up in the morning. Mom and Dad would send us out, and they would call us in for dinner.
Absolutely.
We'd be gone all day playing something.
And you'd be lucky if you came into dinner.
Right,
seriously, because you're like, I don't want to come in.
You'd hurry up and eat and go back out again.
You play wiffle ball out in the circle.
Yep.
It starts out with that, and then you're playing Ghost in the Graveyard or Black Widow or something like that. Kick the can.
It's like a legit movie because we would be playing just like you would see in any movie, and just be intense. It could be 150 degrees. We're playing. It could be raining. We're playing. But the second we would hear the music from the ice cream truck,
gone,
Mr. Softy.
Boom,
Mr. Softy. I mean, just a dead sprint.
Mr. Softy.
Or you're walking bottles up to UDF.
Yes,
to cash in your stuff.
Yes.
To be able to get like an Orange Crush.
No, I would get it in so I get baseball cards.
Yeah, something, just anything. So growing up in that neighborhood was truly, I feel like that it created character.
There's no doubt about it. I mean,
was that all established when you guys were there, or was there streets?
All there. Well,
I know that the Stonington and all back there.
That was not there. We used to play in the woods back there.
That was all woods.
So here's a funny story. So I'm hanging out with the Nazes, Gerards, and stuff like that. When they were building stuff back there, we were stealing stuff from the houses.
For your tree house.
So we had a tree house. The first floor was like 40 feet in the air. And it was
my God.
It was like 5 stories. It was here, and then it went over here, and over here, and over here.
Oh, jeez.
So I think that was the prerequisite for Naz and Gerard's and those guys
to do what they're doing. Right.
That's on their resume.
Yes, exactly. So,
that's awesome.
We had stuff that was shingled and you name it.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's big time.
And so that was a ton of fun. Just riding, and as we got older, we rode mopeds and stuff like that. So you always knew where everybody was.
Right, the mopeds.
Hey, there's 12 mopeds in Naz's driveway.
Yeah.
Whatever everybody's at.
That's the other thing. How did our parents afford us to get a moped? You know what I mean? Or I didn't have one.
How did you get one?
No.
Did you have one? Okay, so the only way I got one was I played pool against my dad $1 a game.
Did you?
And I ended up winning. And,
that's
at
funny.
That time it was $500. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Go to Mount Washington, swim. I kept that thing like pristine.
Oh yeah.
I think it had like 4,500 miles when I got rid of it.
I know your buddy Chovy had one.
Yeah,
I know he had Anthony Rahill.
I know Hanky had one. And, both the Nazes had one. Nick and Tony had one. Ted had one.
Did Sully have one?
He did. He had a red one.
Him and his brother.
Him and Gary. Gary had one too. Gary guys had one too.
Wow, that's crazy.
That was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you put $1 worth of gas in there, and you're driving for 100 miles.
Right. Right.
Steve, I kind of went out of order in this thing, so your question will be before mine, obviously, because I went out of order if you look at it. So.
Oh, that's all right. All right. Well, so Murph, after we go back to talk about the neighborhood growing up,
right.
But we were at high school. We were talking about high school baseball. So going out of high school, was there any type of recruiting process for you? I mean, because it's totally different than what it is now, but what was that like for you? Where did you end up going?
Actually, I played for Post 72, which was Paul Campbell's team, right? Okay. So I played it for them.
Yep.
He wanted me to come play, and there was a guy from Mr. Masterson. I don't know if you remember him. Bob Masterson was a scout for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes, that's right.
So his son Whitey was playing at East Tennessee State.
Okay.
So the coach came up to come watch me pitch and this and that, and he said, "Hey, I got a full scholarship."
Really?
So I went down there, and everything was. I was a mama's boy, so I wasn't used to being away.
Okay.
Right. So 6 hours away, you got no car. You're in East Tennessee.
Right.
My roommate, which was a Turpin guy, which I really couldn't stand at the time.
Okay.
Can I mention his name?
Sure. Do whatever you want.
Brian Lindholtz.
Sure. Yeah.
He would come in.
Southern Ohio Bank.
Yeah. So I had an 8 o'clock calculus class.
Yeah.
He would come in at like 3 in the morning and wake me up.
Oh.
And I just had enough of that, And I had talked to, at one of our summer tournaments, I had talked to a guy named Jim Schmitz, who was the coach at UC.
Okay.
Right? So I ended up calling him.
Yeah.
Saying, "Hey, coach, I want to come back. I think I made a mistake here at East Tennessee State, and I'd have been pitching second pitcher on the team.
Okay.
As a freshman. Right? So, I think the first game we were going to play was against Clemson.
Oof.
Right out of the chute. Here you go, son.
Hello.
So I ended up coming back to UC.
Okay.
And, I knew Newt, and but really didn't know a whole lot of the guys.
Okay.
Probably played against them in some way.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know anybody.
Okay.
So, everything went fine, and I remember freshman, I was still a freshman, so my spring season, we're down in South Carolina, playing at South Carolina Homer Hanky night.
Okay.
6,000 people in the stands. And I don't know if being from Norwood, do you know Mark Gabbert?
Yes,
Gabby.
I do.
So Gabby was our catcher in the bullpen at the time, because he was a freshman, I think.
Sounds familiar.
So I'm throwing the ball all over the place. I mean, I'm throwing it everywhere, and that's when the bullpen was inside the stadium. So balls are going down there, and they're yelling at Gabby, "Catch the damn ball!" And this and that. It's not Gabby's fault.
Right.
So I get to come in. I come in for Shannon Murphy, which went to Walnut Hills.
Okay.
And he was a senior. And I come in, and I think we were losing. I don't know, whatever. I come in and I pitch. The first warm-up pitch, I throw all the way to the backstop. And it's like 20 yards. I mean, this is not like, knot hole.
Yeah.
Where the backstop's right here.
There, yeah.
There's no backstop, and there's a net.
All right.
Way back that way.
Yeah.
So everybody goes crazy. Because first warm-up pitch, my coach, I got a picture, and the coach just going like this. Never even made a move.
Yeah.
Never even, reaction, no nothing.
Please tell me.
Right. So, I come out, everything's done, warm-up pitch are done. Joe Spriggs, you know Joey?
Sure.
So Joe was a senior, right?
Okay.
Comes waddling out, and he just says, "Fuck it, throw it." That's all he says. And he walks back.
Just let it go.
So I'm pitching against a guy named Skeets Thomas, which was like one of the best players in the entire country. Fast, tons of ability. I mean, just great hitter. I ended up striking him out on a garbage changeup or something like that, something silly like that, whatever. And everything was great after that.
Wow.
Just totally great.
That's pretty cool.
We've had...
Did you play all 4 years? I
did. Played all 4 years with a great group of guys.
Yeah.
So we, anytime, we always had the vans to where we drove to games.
Yes.
Because, that's when we didn't have money.
Right.
UC's field is like phenomenal now, and everything's great.
Better than a lot of minor league teams.
Give me a Newt. Give me something about Newt. You got anything good on Newt in college or?
Newt was awesome because I bet he was. He was just a good guy to play with. I mean, what really was unfortunate is we were playing Wright State, and the guy slid in and totally took out his knee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just totally. And, which really sucked. I mean, Newt just did stuff. He was just awesome. Him and Jamie Baker were the greatest right in the middle. I mean, just very easy going.
So Newt played short?
Newt played second. And then Jamie Baker from Hamilton played short.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a lot of local flavor.
Yeah. Oh, well, we had a total of 4 scholarships for the whole entire team.
Okay.
Wow. So we had, I think in 1 year, 17 of the 25 guys were from Cincinnati.
Wow.
And we were pretty good. Our problem was we didn't have enough pitching.
Yeah.
And you got to, when you're playing teams like Florida State and their fifth guy is still throwing 93 miles per hour and our fifth guy is throwing like
72.
80.
Right.
Slunking it in there. It was good. We always drove the van. Tony Ellsbrock always drove the van.
Ellsbrock.
Yeah, I love Tony. And then there was 1 year we had 3 accidents.
Really?
In the vans.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So like 1 year, we got sideswiped in Mississippi. I think it was like a high-speed chase or something like that. Some guy sideswiped one of the vans. We broke down in Tennessee. We were the third van because we took 3 vans, right?
Yeah.
So Tony's driving. We're at Crazy Charlie's or whatever. We'd stop to get gas or whatever. We're driving, and all of a sudden that thing just dies on the on-ramp.
Oh.
Just dies. So we're thinking, no big deal. They'll come back and get us.
Yeah.
4 hours later.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
So we had the van seats all pulled out, sitting on the side of the road. We're sitting there going, okay, where are we going to stay tonight?
Yeah. This is all before cell phones.
Yeah. So finally they came back and, burned up the engine. Doesn't look like what had ever been changed in that engine. So burned up that engine. It was
wow.
It was.
How'd you end up getting back home then with?
Well, they rented a van from Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Or from Knoxville or something like that. I guess somebody from Houston called and said, hey, you need to get over there. And
wow.
But, the first 2 vans never even knew we weren't there.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Another good story, Chuck Lauman. Do you know Chuck?
I'm not sure I do.
Chuck is a West Side guy.
Okay.
He is Tom Kilgore's brother-in-law.
Sure.
I know. Right? Yeah. So there was 1 year we took off. It was one of those vans where we had 2 tanks. So one tank's done.
Oh, yeah.
Flip the switch and you go to another tank, right? So Chuck, we're driving to Spartanburg, South Carolina. He's going like 95 miles per hour.
Okay.
Right? Flying.
Yep.
Flip the other tank, so we never stopped. We left the other 2 vans. Done. Gone. End up in Spartanburg. Pull up, get something to eat. Everything's good. We get out, the van won't start.
Okay. Oh my.
Went back to the other tank?
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but somebody got this brilliant idea of that neutral safety switch and put it neutral and it started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, it's some good stories. We used to play van football.
Oh, God.
I mean, it was terrible.
Oh, my God.
Some of the stuff that we used to do in the vans was pretty classic. Pretty classic and pretty scary.
So how much of a jump was it from high school, playing against Glen Estee and Turpin as opposed to who you had to pitch against? Besides the obvious, what was...
Well, Florida State obviously was top 10 in the country.
Yeah.
So they were all outstanding.
Yeah.
Eduardo Perez played for them at the time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, but funny thing about the Perez boys, because he's got a twin brother, right? The funny thing about them is they played for Ken Sill, which was down in Madisonville.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Growing up?
Yes.
No kidding.
So we had played against them before.
Really? That's funny.
That's crazy.
It was a huge jump.
Yeah.
You couldn't just throw fastballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have something to
fastball.
Right.
So you better learn to locate your pitches and, that kind of good stuff. Better develop some other stuff. And
how much do you think that you learned, not to slight Lynn Moore or anything like that, but once you got to college, how much do you think you learned?
Huge. Like how to throw a curveball?
Yeah.
Like mechanics?
Yeah.
Because they didn't teach that stuff.
Yeah.
You just go out and you throw.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember throwing with my dad in the backyard and, he left-handed catcher, trying to catch.
Right.
And,
so you're saying Mike McCammon or Bill Ellis didn't help you with the curveballs?
What they could do. I would have liked for your brother to show me how to throw that stellar knuckleball.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it was awesome.
Yeah, Danny knows all about that.
Oh, yeah, I hated it.
Danny's missed it a couple times. Hit him right at you.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. Did it on purpose, and then Moose would do something too, so they both would mess with. So after college, We were trying to figure if this is true or accurate. Did you end up getting drafted?
I did not.
Or did you go? I thought for some reason there was something you...
So here's what I did. So I went to a tryout camp.
Okay.
And I went actually with Mark Gabbard. And one other guy, I forget his name. So we ended up going to tryout camp in, I want to say it was in Chicago.
Okay.
So we go to Chicago, everything goes well. I mean, I got more aspirin and ibuprofen and anti-inflammatories. I probably have 1,800 milligrams of stuff in my system. I mean, I got a full stomach, so I wasn't worried about that. Just I could have thrown it between my legs and it would have been a strike. I mean, everything was, I think it was like 94, something like that. So, but ended up getting a call from the Bend Bucks, which is out in Oregon at the time, in Bend, Oregon.
All right.
So, never been on a plane before. I fly to Chicago, then we fly to Chicago to Portland, then they take a little puddle jumper, right? So I go and I get there finally, everything's good. I know a guy, Jerry Shane, who's a West Side guy, that I played with.
Okay.
So he ended up, kind of welcoming me and everything was good.
Yep.
Oregon was great. It was like 80 degrees every day. It was perfect.
Okay. Right.
And mountains. I'm like, what are those things with white stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of cool.
Right.
The air was great and had a really good season. Played against guys like, Troy Percival played in that league.
Okay.
Wow. Johnny Damon. Joe Randa played in that league. That's when they played for Kansas City.
Okay.
Wow.
So, that was a ton of fun because those were good guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just all around good guys.
So was it affiliated with an organization? Is it kind of like the Florence Y'alls?
Yeah, it was an independent team. And these are some of these guys, were from California, and Jerry and I were from Ohio, and there was other guys, from Texas.
Yeah.
And
so you did that just for 1 year? Or?
Just for 1 year, and then I got picked up by the Astros. Had a really good year in Oregon, 5-3, and I think I had like a 3-point something ERA, something pretty low. I had tons of strikeouts, and
wow,
that's
pretty sweet.
It was a good time.
So where'd you go?
Went to go play. I went to spring training the next year, right? Everything's golden. It's good. I'm warming up, and everybody's getting loose and stuff like that first day. And they say, hey, Murphy. And I'm like, oh, great, I'm cut. That's what I'm thinking immediately, right? It's the director of scouting. Calls me over, and I'm like, oh, Lord, what did I do?
Yeah.
He goes, I need you to throw some batting practice. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll throw some batting practice. Everything's good. So he takes me off to this, because there's like 10 fields there, right?
Okay.
It's in Kissimmee, Florida.
I was going to say, you're in Florida?
Yeah.
All right.
So everything, I walk over with him, and he goes, I just need you to throw some batting practice with 3 guys. It's Ken Caminetti, Craig Biggio, and Bagwell.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I'm throwing batting practice to.
No kidding.
I have no L screen.
Okay.
And then they said, you have to tell them what you're throwing.
Okay.
And I'm like, for the love of God, don't kill me.
Yes. Yeah. Please pull the ball.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, God, if I hit one of these guys and hurt him, I'm done.
Right.
So, everything went fine.
How cool is that, though,
That was like, holy cow. I mean, these guys are like,
so you ever go to a Reds game and say, hey, I pitched batting practice to you, just go say something. You remember that?
I helped you.
So, I mean, it wasn't like he's the first major league guy because Sabo and a couple other guys used to come down to the field house and batting practice and stuff like that. And
that's pretty cool.
As you get in the cage and you're throwing a batting practice, and you're not trying to heat them up or anything like that. You're doing and you're working on your mechanics.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything special. You're just throwing the ball down the middle. Here you go, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after that,
went to Burlington, Iowa. Never go there ever. It was awful. It's just a terrible. It was hot, and there was nothing to do. It was like a town stuck in the 60s.
Still affiliated with the Astros?
I don't know if they are the Astros now anymore.
I mean, then when you were.
Yeah. So that was, and then had a decent season. Our team wasn't very good.
Is this rookie ball or A-ball? What is it?
This is A-ball.
A-ball. Okay.
A-ball. So the cool thing was, Jack Billingham was our pitching coach.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Super cool, super sarcastic.
Yeah. I bet.
He was hilarious.
I bet.
So, I mean, he'd just make comments, and to you.
That's all. And he's got stories.
Great guy. Then that year we weren't very good. The next year I was in Quad City, Iowa, which is about 100 miles north, right on the Mississippi River.
Still single A.
Still single A.
Okay.
So we were the Quad City River Bandits.
Okay.
Right? That was coincidentally the year the Mississippi River flooded.
Uh-oh.
So if you look that up, look up John O'Donnell Stadium, 1993.
Okay.
Right? Field done. Had like 10 feet of water.
Oh no.
So done. So we had to move up to a high school field, uptown. It wasn't flooded.
Right.
But the stadium was phenomenal.
Wow.
I mean, probably holded 10,000 people.
Really?
It was great.
Wow.
So we used to get balls away in the bullpen for food. So, you have a sleeve of like 8 or 10 brand new baseballs.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they got like 2 balls at the end of the night. I got 12 hot dogs or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a great story.
It's great.
So was that the after that, was it done then? Or
I was just done.
Yeah,
I was done.
you just said I had enough.
You know what? The college baseball was so much better.
Yeah.
Because you played as a team. Those guys played for themselves.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And I think I just lost the fire.
And then you just wanted to get home, or just,
wanted to get home, and I got my degree, everything's good, started teaching the next year.
Really?
Yeah, I was at the Fireman's Festival. I had student taught at Milford.
Okay.
Right? Got Fireman's Festival, we're sitting there just having a beer.
Yeah.
Sitting in shorts, got a beard and stuff like that, and everything's good. And the lady that was my teacher, Barb Haverkos, comes up and says, "Hey, are you still doing special education?" I said, "Yeah." Had an interview the next day.
No way.
And ended up, I've been with them ever since.
That?
No kidding.
29 years later.
Pulling out the Fireman's Festival on top of that.
Yeah.
That Fireman's Festival was the
What
best.
a great time that was.
Oh, the best.
Wow.
The mouse trap or whatever that was.
It is.
Down the dirty brown hole.
The Anderson days doesn't even hold.
No, not even close. Fireman's Festival was the best.
Yes.
I mean, it was.
When it was at the firehouse.
Yes, when it was at the firehouse.
Yes, and the fish sandwiches were
so packed.
great.
You couldn't move.
Just the smell.
Yeah, everything was good.
The smell of stale beer.
Yeah.
So I've been special education teacher since 29 years. So,
that's awesome,
I'm
Pat.
looking at retirement and
that's awesome.
Another 4 or 5 years.
Did you coach there too?
I coached girls softball.
Okay.
I didn't really, I was just kind of burnt out on baseball.
Okay.
Just done.
Okay.
And ended up coaching girls softball. We were pretty good.
Okay.
We had some good players, and it was kind of an.
Was that the underhand thing, or was it the fast pitch?
Fast pitch. And
okay.
we had pretty good teams. I mean,
did you know how to teach how to throw?
No, hell no, I didn't know how to teach the underhand.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I can teach you how to pitch, because pitching's the same no matter if you're throwing it underhand or it's the same.
Right.
But I had players like Kelly Sharkey's daughter, Shelby.
Sure.
Shelby Madden played for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I coached in Amelia for several years, had a good team. Kenny Kesselring was our athletic director.
Oh, wow.
And we had pretty good teams and, could play a little bit. And then my kids just started getting older and they were doing their own thing. My wife traveled a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's more important for them for me to be there for them.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And go to their, and go to their games and because they played soccer and, my oldest daughter, Lauren, she played soccer in Amelia. She probably could have played in college if she wanted to, but just kind of got burnt out. And I said, hon, I totally understand.
Okay.
I get it.
That's okay. Well, give us an update on your family.
4 kids. So I have Lauren, who's the oldest.
Okay.
I have Taylor and Allie, who are the middle girls, and then there's Nicholas.
Okay.
And Nicholas looks dead on me, but he's taller than I am. He's like 6'2".
How old is he?
He is 21.
Okay. So is everybody in town?
Everybody's in town. Lauren lives in Amelia.
Okay.
And she's a kindergarten teacher in Loveland.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so everything's good with her.
That's great.
The 2 girls, unfortunately, I've lost them to the west side.
Okay.
Because they went to school at Mount St. Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, and they both played soccer.
Okay.
And they were good. I mean, they could play.
Yeah.
And so they went to the NCAA Division III tournament once. They were league champs, so everything was great for them. Right.
Good.
And they loved the experience over there. Then I have Nicholas, who bowled in high school.
Okay.
Nicholas is kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's going to be a math teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we got 2 teachers, and then 2 business marketing.
Wow.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, but everybody's doing great. So I got a wedding coming up on July 2nd.
Really?
For Taylor.
Okay.
And then we're going to have another one because my daughter Allie got engaged.
That's
She'll
great.
be probably next September. So there's another wedding.
Wow!
Right?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just get out your wallet.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Right? So soon to have 3 grandkids. So
wow.
yeah. So I mean, things are
good.
It's good. Life's
things
good.
are happening.
And your brother and sister?
Sister lives in Fairfield, married. Her 2 sons are firefighters, EMTs.
Oh, that's great.
So they work. They're really good.
Yeah.
Tim lives over off of 32.
Okay.
He's married. He's got 2 kids.
What does Tim do?
Tim works for Eastern Kentucky University. So Tim worked. He worked for the Hope Academy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that place. So that was some pretty rough kids for a long time. And before that, he lived in South Carolina.
Okay.
And he worked at a place called Wynwood Farm.
Okay.
And those were mentally ill children that he worked with and stuff like that. But he works for Northern Kentucky. He's great. I mean, I think he loves it. And
good for him. It's always good when I see him. So wasn't he at one time aspiring to be a Major League umpire?
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could see him being a good umpire.
So my dad...
He umped a long time.
Tim and my dad. Okay, so my dad used to umpire. Like when at UC, we didn't have any umpires show up. My dad would do the game.
No way. That's awesome.
And I'd be like, after the game, I'm like, Dad, this is bullshit. Strike zone's like, really? I'm like, Dad, you cannot umpire.
That's funny,
on, dude.
Yeah,
you gotta.
I can see him now.
It was pretty rough.
I can see him doing it.
That's bullshit, Dad. I struck that fucker out. Just stuff like that.
I can see him though.
And Tim was very good. So they umpired in the what's it called, what was the semi-professional league that like Reading Taxi and then played in?
The Cotty Mac?
Yeah, so those guys could play.
That's big time.
You got Steve Emhoff, you got guys from Reading Taxi that were out seeing Cheviot playing, you got Terrace Park that played. I think Joe Dayton played for Terrace Park.
Okay.
So, you got those guys can play. So you better be on your stuff.
Right.
There's no, and
at least know the rules.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing my dad did. My dad hustled and he knew the rules.
Yeah.
And my brother umpired down in South Carolina, and so they were very good.
Yeah. I mean, I am sure.
So we talked about some of the guys you still keep in touch. Obviously, like Steve and I, it's pretty much I think it's just me, Steve. We keep in touch with Tommy Benassi, and that's really kind of about it. Do you still keep in touch with?
It's kind of weird because I see Bill Gerard a lot, tons. So we hang out. We go out to dinner and stuff all the time. Jimmy McMahon, I hang out with. Ted I see occasionally. Ted owns that Cincinnati Sports Nation.
Sure. Yeah.
Up in Milford. Cincinnati
Sports
Nation.
It's a soccer complex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, but other than that.
That's it, yeah. I mean, it's just, the times.
Life gets busy and you don't really have time.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pat, that's what's so cool about our golf outing that we do is a lot of guys come out that you haven't seen in a lot. I see Pat. I've seen Pat now, I don't know how many years in a row now. Pat, Tony Diana, Kurt Kissinger.
Yeah.
And then some of these other guys that, I'm trying to think of some of the guys that Randy Corbett. All these guys show up, and then you and your brothers, and we get a lot of people. So it's kind of cool just to get.
Well, the one year when Sean McCammon played and Dave Limestall played.
Well, Dave Limestall played. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God, Dave, what's going on,
about that? Yeah.
Nah, it's just really cool to see. I mean, there's a lot of people that come out of the woodwork that one year they'll show up, one year they won't, but it's just great to see everybody. So that'd be cool to.
I would love to get together. I think the last time we got together, was I think Jed's.
Yes, I remember seeing that
funeral.
Yeah.
Okay.
For his mom.
We ended up going to Sound Gardens, and everybody really came in, so everybody was there.
Yeah.
Naz came in from California or from Colorado, and I think Rick came down and stuff like that.
From Michigan.
And then we got together a little bit. Rick's mom just died.
Oh, really?
A little bit ago.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Gerard died just recently. I know.
It
sucks.
It does suck.
And
it does. I'll be honest. I mean, the older you get, it's all the things like when we were, younger, we didn't really care about. Now it's like, now it's like you want everything back, and slowly slow down a little bit because I remember, and we've brought this up before, that when my dad turned 50, I'm like, God, he's old.
Yeah.
Well, to me, he's not old anymore.
I know.
You're thinking to yourself, I'm never going to be that old.
Yeah, I know.
And all of a sudden you blink your eyes and there you are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It sucks.
Well, we're going to go ahead and try to wrap this up real quick, but the always way that we wrap this up is we want to give us your favorite high school memories, college, and then maybe a favorite teacher or coach. So let's start off with your favorite high school memory.
Oh, God. Probably now here's a good one. Spanish class, Miss Petrie.
Yeah.
So I was ditching her class, and somebody was in the class. I was in the middle, the pavilion in there in the middle of the... And somebody said, hey, he's out there. And I think I climbed a tree or something.
Oh, barf.
I think I climbed a tree. She didn't see me. I got away with it. I don't know. That was
his favorite story.
It was Mrs. Petrie.
Oh, wow.
I hope she's not watching this.
That's funny.
So
I hope she is watching.
Actually, I'm not sure anything ever happened.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Whatever.
That is too
favorite
funny.
high school memory, ditching class. That's great.
I do have another good memory. Mark Nelson, freshman year,
Sure,
we're in Miss Falso's room.
Yeah,
Falso.
Right? I felt terrible. It's middle of the winter. I mean, I feel like I'm going to throw up. He comes up to me, and just pats me, and I throw up all over Miss Falso's desk.
Oh, no.
Just hurl everywhere.
That's awesome.
And I just walked out of the room and never said a word. I mean, she was,
that's awesome.
whatever.
Did I pass?
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, give me college.
College was probably when we beat my junior year. We played South Carolina in the Metro Conference tournament. So
Conference.
We could never compete in the regular season, right, with them, right? Because they had so much more money to spend and they could recruit better. We never came in worse than third in the conference tournament.
Oh, wow.
So in the Metro Conference tournament. So, we beat South Carolina. We're sunburnt. Okay, so this is a great story. So we're down in Florida playing Florida State.
Okay.
Right? Bunch of northern white kids. It's May. Right? We go all the way up. So we drive across from Tallahassee. Yeah. We stop at Pensacola.
Okay.
Coach goes, hey, you know what? You guys can have the day at the beach.
Uh-oh.
Huge mistake.
Right.
Right? So as red as that UC hat.
Yeah.
It's 85 degrees in the van, and everybody's like freezing to death.
Yeah.
Right? The only person that wasn't freezing is a guy named George Gonastis. He was Greek. So he didn't burn.
Didn't bother him.
Right.
Yeah.
So we get to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Right. We're playing in a tournament. Everything's good, and everybody, my mom and dad and all the parents went out and found real aloe. So like Billy Metzinger had to have like hot presses put on his back to pop all the blisters. Everybody had sleeves. It was like 90 degrees. Everybody had long black sleeves.
Oh my God.
So the first game, Jamie Baker was on first, slides into second. Everybody's going, oh, like that, because he's just sunburned terribly, right? So we play. We ended up beating them. The sunburn kind of just waters out and just kind of falls off, and everything was good. We ended up beating South Carolina. We beat Florida State.
Wow.
We lost to Virginia Tech. So we were playing Florida State in the final game, right? So we ended up losing 5-4. We struck out a guy, and our catcher launched it over the first baseman's head. Oh. We lose 5-4.
Oh.
So, I mean, we could have gone to the regional.
Wow.
Which would have been really cool. But just a ton of fun. I love seeing those guys. We play in a UC golf outing every year.
Oh, cool.
And it's so much fun.
That's awesome.
It's just seeing those guys.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. So give real quick, we'll end it here. Give me your favorite teacher or coach.
Not Miss Petrie.
No, not Miss Petrie. I like Mr. Penwell.
Mr. Penwell.
Yeah, I used to, like Steve said, scared the hell out of you.
Yeah.
But Mr. Harris was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I really like Mr. Hebling. Was a great dude. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if I know Mr. Penwell's died, but Mr. Harris is still
He's still with us, yep.
And I don't know about Mr. Hebling or anything like that.
I don't know either.
Just a good guy. I mean, just
We had some great teachers.
Oh,
we had some great teachers.
Tons of fun. I would go back to high school again. Actually, I don't think if it was like today, I would not want to go back to high school.
I'd like to just go back and watch. What an idiot I was.
I mean, I would like to take a time machine and just go back and put us like in a certain, our senior year or something.
And not for financial gain or anything like that. Just to relive it.
Yeah.
Right.
I showed a picture. Jed had put something on there about, he had pictures of everybody when we were really young, in college. Yeah. So I sent my daughter Taylor one. She goes, "You're such a dork."
I think we can all say that.
You have to understand that they have this weird demented personality.
Yeah.
Taylor and Allie are really weird. They
just don't get the clothes from the 70s.
No. Yeah. And I try to play him music from the 70s.
Yeah.
You don't get it. This is music.
Danny and his glasses.
Yeah, my big old thick Ernie glasses I used to have.
The music from the 70s was the greatest.
It still is the best.
Love it.
Still is the best.
Yeah. So I play it every once in a while. I'll play it, when I'm working and stuff like that. And the kids are like, "What are you listening to?" I say, "You don't get it."
Yeah, that's right.
This is Led Zeppelin, or this is Van Halen, or this is U2 or whatever. You guys don't get it. This
That's awesome.
Great.
That's funny. That is awesome. Well, Pat, we really appreciate you taking the time. This is all. We could go on, obviously, for hours and hours just catching up.
It was great catching up with you guys. We need to get together more because
I totally agree.
Time is ticking and it's getting away fast.
Yes, you got that right.
Maybe we'll have to. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe you guys have all your guys playing that football, the Anderson, whatever.
My God,
and Steve and I will announce it. We won't play.
No way.
We're playing. We'll announce.
I want to get off the sideline. Whole quad.
No kidding.
That's awesome. Well, we really appreciate it. Now, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So you've been watching Dingo to Coach podcast, but again, we are now on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart. We're also on YouTube. So if you want, you can check it out on any of those social media platforms. And then also, if you would like to sponsor this podcast, you can always do that too as well. That'd really help out. We'd appreciate it. You can contact myself or you can contact Steve to help out. So again, we really appreciate Pat joining us. So we're going to wrap it up. So for Steve Ellis, the coach, and I am Dingo, wrapping it up here for Dingo Coach. We'll catch you next week.